Yo guys, am I getting replaced or league coaching's about to get replaced by league AIs? Now we've seen multiple of these type of League of Legends guide AIs that will provide you guidance. Uh, wow, there's also a random Ramos in here. And a B. Are we getting replaced? Well, let's see their promotional ad and this is gonna this is gonna be a funny video because people keep adding AI into everything these days, right? Because suddenly the name AI became very famous to add into your site's title. Even in the past, things were AI, but they weren't called AI. These days the word AI become a bit more popular. I would say one day we will get replaced. I think many things will be replaced. One day it's very realistic that one day league coaches and many things, including painters, y'all, will get replaced, if not already. But let's look at their promotional campaign.
Season 14, you're missing out! We got a comment on our last video saying Udyr was broken, so we had to try it out. Since I'm a noob...
Meeko is like ChatGPT on steroids for League. Yeah, but the issue is ChatGPT is already very bad for League and it has only outdated information.
Never played Udyr.
Which is not a very good idea to advertise it. This video also was posted, I think,
If you're not playing Udyr in Season 14...
Hey, that was a misclick.
You're missing out! We got a comment on our last video saying Udyr was broken, so we had to...
Bro!
If you're not playing Udyr in Season...
The AI is getting me, man. It doesn't let me.
14, you're missing out! We got a comment on our last video saying...
I'm not touching my mouse.
So we had to try
I accidentally pulled the wheel.
Since I never played Udyr before, I decided to ask Meeko.ai for a complete build and strategy of how to play him. And I got to admit,
I'm scared of my mouse.
In the beginning. Anyway, Meeko told me to capitalize on his early game clearing power, so I did.
I mean, that's so much, but nothing at the same time. It's not like... It's how do you capitalize on his early game clearing power, not like, you feel me? It gives instructions that are very unclear for the average players. Like, what does that mean for a bronze player? Like, okay, I would say like capitalize of your strong early game as Darius, but some people may not know how to play a matchup or the champion, or capitalize of your early game as Akali or Yasuo, but they don't even know how to play the champion, which is a very unclear way of giving guidance to people.
And level 4 I got my first kill and owned this corner.
But the Skylar could then genuinely disengage with his... I'm not gonna complain or even with his base kit, but it's whatever, cause Udyr... Well, whatever, right?
Another great tip Meeko gave me was to use his mobility to apply pressure on multiple...
Utilize his mobility to apply pressure on multiple lanes simultaneously, but how do you do that though? Genuinely, how do you do that? Shen might be the only jungler that can do that. If people know that recent LS video, he reached master with Shen jungle Halo Blades. Shen, Karthus, those may be actually two champs that can very consistently apply pressure on multiple lanes because he can gank. Then he also has R to hold into, so he can pressure the mid and the bot lane as well if he's ganking top. But that doesn't apply. How the fuck do you utilize that mobility? Because multiple lanes simultaneously, how the hell are you supposed to... Like, this is really not the champ. I think the advice is good but not for this champion. It's very far from this champion.
Lane simultaneously, which was also really helpful. And after finishing my first 2 items, I did a...
What? Yamuzen collect? What?
A lot of damage.
The issue is with Udyr is that ever since Prowler Claw got removed, this champion is so shit with lethality. Cause the issue is he only got like one single AD scaling that actually does damage, right? On his Q, and the rest of his abilities don't scale with AD. So at that point you could just go like a assassin jungle that builds lethality,
I was constantly just running down the enemies and they were getting super annoyed. Even though this was my first time playing Udyr, I really agree that he's extremely...
I'm pretty much sure, like, I think that's like one of the most dog builds out there, but you know what, let's just not judge before I check the best players. But I'm pretty much sure, like, ever since the Prowler's Claw removal, I mean, Udyr is dog shit in general, I feel like, but ever since the Prowler's Claw removal, he didn't really do super well, right? So at most it's Leandry. People don't tend, I don't think so. Do people even go, like, any In general, not really, right? Like people either go tank bruiser some random build or they go AP, in higher ranks at least. So I don't really see how this lethality. Yeah, like in general, I don't really see like Kraken we see sometimes. This and that was I didn't wanted to judge it too early, but I feel like it's just not it. After the after those lethality changes, I feel like the champion just some go AP, some go bit bruiser oriented, but they don't really go lethality these days. Actually, I just
strong right now. However, I also used Meeko.
I hope we don't get replaced by AI like
Which
this.
made it all a lot easier. Here I almost one-shotted MF. And after
What?
42 minutes of playing, I was getting really
But that's very bad though. Like if you didn't close out the game with an lethality oriented build as Udyr, you are in trouble. So that's actually not a good thing. Okay, let's move on.
So I decided to go for the back door, and it worked out really good. If you want to use me,
He forgot to say thanks to the help of Meeko. Say yeah. I'm just meaning to her.
you don't have to wait anymore. You can go to meeko.ai and secure your spot in the beta.
The good thing is I'm already here, so I don't have to move to it. Now, I will not complain too much about the pricing. We're gonna go down to the pricings themselves. So there are some discounts as well. Well, normally it's not even worth actually 5 euros. It's actually not worth 5 euros. And there's like a zero, euro version. There's like a 15 one, and there are some differences in between them, such as 5 questions per day, no memory. Then it gets progressively better, unlimited questions, 2x messages, conversation history, pro builds, connect LoL account for analysis. All previous tiers, long conversation history, advanced analysis, Meeko plus proactive. And the issue is there is actually no transparency on what does this AI actually provide you in game, if there is some in game thing that it provides. Because as I heard that most it's gonna tell you to CS better and things like that, because there is actually just no transparency on YouTube either. You can search it up, but there is no transparency. Maybe for who knows for what reason. Now, okay, I also asked Coach GB, also asked the Meeko AI. For the first time I kind of fucked it up, because you gotta type it in a you gotta type it in a specific way with 2 dots, ask question 2 dots. And my question was, the classic thing I asked ChatGPT, because they said it's basically ChatGPT for League, but it's the same thing, guys. So as one facing Darius in the top lane, here's the build that can help you. Skill priority WQE. Now the issue is W is more than often not used against good Darius players, especially buffs, because you got to use it mainly to disengage. If you go grasp, right, you got to use it to counter his E, and in here it says you should go grasp, but if you run grasp you have to hold W for his E. But God, usually Q is way more favored, because into your W he can Q, so that's just not okay, bruh. I wouldn't recommend W maxing in general. Into Darius, Q is a teensy bit better, especially because you're gonna get more Qs to scale to CS and to poke a little more often. Skill priority WEQ. Summoner Flash TP. You can also go Ignite, but Flash TP is consistent. As I said, Grasp is generally very, very bad. Magical Footwear is insanely bad, because you need that early plate at Silk Caps to survive through the Darius laning phase, or at least Bummy, if you have Phase Rush. But in here we don't have boots, but we don't have Phase Rush either, so we just kinda like kill ourselves actually with this setup. It also provides that, like, there is actually like attack speed, health scaling. Usually don't want to take the attack speed at most. I take the physical damage shard actually. Doran shield, health potion can be fine. Then it recommends you Sunfire, Aegis, Plate, Silk Cap, Jack, Shoulder, Protean. Now, usually you kinda wanna go Sunfire or Pami into Heartsteel, or you wanna go Sunfire, depends how the laning phase go. Half them will you get ganked. Plated Rush is not necessarily bad either, it's very defensive. But I think it just really comes down to like how wrong this is, right? So later options, right? Tormail or Frozen Heart, what the fuck is that even? Tormail, Frozen Heart, Kyanic. Yeah, but he recommends Kyanic without Heartsteel, and Unending Despair without Heartsteel, which is a bit concerning, because that gives them that very, very juicy HP stats, right? It scales of HP, right? These items and runes are based on diamond rank. What? Analysis, which should provide you with durability and trading power against Darius. Watch how it's played and checking out the bots. Carney, Stunt, Probably there are some pro players, I don't know. This setup should help you to manage Darius Street by enchanting more natural and bro, what? Now don't only take my opinion, because if I type macro spreadsheet, right, so I did actually play it in Challenger, and Unet is phase reset up in Grandmaster, of course. This phase reset up against Darius, right, and he does have his own spreadsheet. I think it's in his bio. Where is it? It's here. And I believe it's here if I'm correct, right? And if we just scroll down to from A to Z, you know, very easily, Diana, Dr. Mundo, Darius, right? We can see phase rush, and he actually did peak over 1k challenger most of the seasons he did play. So it's not only me, of course, that has the same opinion, of course, about phase rush on versus Darius. So you kind of shoot yourself so far in your own balls with these advices. Because these are not really machine intelligence, this is artificial intelligence, but machine intelligence doesn't really exist, it's just like something I'm coming up with. Because in here, it will just basically give you certain things to do based on statistics, so it's based on what the fuck people do, that's the fucking thing they're gonna tell you, not what the fuck is actually great to go for. Because it's just basically like just statistics of at most what the hell do people go for, you know, not like what's gonna be the best for you, you know, because like most of the people actually don't know what to build and what kind of runes to get in league. I'm telling you, most, like 99% of the people in every single situation, sometimes even me, sometimes other high elo players as well, don't exactly know what to get, what to build. And because like those things add up and they get added in statistics without any type of verification, more than often they will show up that the mods or the developers of this AI, they are not giving a shit at most about the answers, are they? I mean, you can give them a thumbs down, I guess. You can give them a thumbs down or a thumbs up, right? So this will allow them actually to realize maybe something there might be wrong with it. So I guess they take some type of feedback if I look around a little bit. It also speaks in other languages as well, which may be a bit useful now and then for people. But yeah, that was just one example, you know, like I could ask him about any other champions, you know, like I could definitely ask him about any other champion, like anything, you know, like you could ask, for example, Malphite, how to, oh wait, you gotta ask it in a specific way. How the fuck is it? Or like this, or slash ask question, like that. Okay. Let me just pull out something oddly specific out of my spreadsheet. I'm gonna be the mean fella. Do we pull out something out of my specific? Do we pull out something very specific out of my spreadsheet in here? Do we pull out the Gwen? Do we pull out the Gwen? Do we pull out something very specific? Can pull out something very specific as well out of it. Oh my god. Because there are just so many specific things, it's unreal. Do we pull out the Gnar? Okay, that's not like oddly specific, you know. Okay, one basic top lane question, you know. Might take some time, but I guess that's fine. Good work takes time, right? Playing Malphite against Gnar in top lane requires patience and understanding your strengths and power spike. Malphite excels in absorbing damage with his passive and can provide strong engage. With his ultimate unstoppable force, however, he can be weak in the early game against consistent poke, which Gnar is known for. That's false. His poke is not that consistent into Malphite because you have threat from your Q, especially from Comet Scorch, so he's not allowed actually to short trade into you so often because of your shield being up as well. So his poke is not so consistent against you actually. Early game, play safe initially and focus on farming without taking too much poke. I mean, I guess you can do that. Conserve your health and wait until you reach level 6. You don't have to reach level 6 all the time, to be honest, because if he doesn't have his Q up, which he perma uses, if you do have approach velocity, you can actually close the gap quite easily, which what is his E out. His E goes on a 24-second cooldown. Then on the next rotation of your Q, you could look to force something if his Q is again on cooldown. It's kind of bad to actually not force fights, especially if your jungler could bat into you, or like it's important to pre-6 to kind of like poke your opponent down to some degree for an all-in. Mid lane, start looking for split push opportunities and secure side objectives when your teammate's ultimate is down. I mean, I guess you could do that, but this is also like a good and a bad advice at the same time, because it's not always dependent for like, it's not always like ultimate dependent for you to actually like follow up or shadow your teammates. So this can be useful, but only like depends on what kind of Rs your teammates have and how much does your team rely on them, you know? Like it may be like a fair advice, but it's just like I don't fucking know. Like even split pushing into Gnar is just often can be okay, but it's not the best idea at most, because you have so much threat around objectives. Because with this champion you can also balance how do you play, so it shouldn't just like be an option for you to split push. Group with your team when you're unstoppable forces. Oh yeah, I think that's fair. Look for picks and engages in team fights. Peel for your carries as needed and use your ultimate to initiate fight or catch out of position enemies. I guess that's fair. Sounds a bit basic, but I guess that's fair. Late game, only commit to fights when your ultimate is available. I mean, I just feel like some of these are very common sense, because obviously they're not like a hard engage in champion without R, right? So you can't hard engage if you don't have your R up, right? I don't know, I guess these advices are a little bit basic, you know. Tips: when the enemy is under tower, only caster minions left, use your unstoppable or force ground slam E, push them into the tower range. What? When an enemy is under your tower with only caster minions left, use your unstoppable force. That's okay of an advice. Maximize crowd control, delay your ground slam by 1 second after using it for the look down. Yeah, that's a good idea if your opponent is fighting you back after your R, but if they are not, then it's better to get your E off as fast as possible, because your R lasts 1.5 seconds, right? And in some case scenario, people just wanna run away. They are not looking for counter attacks, and that's whether it's more important to have more faster rotations of E's, you know. Keep in mind that Malphite effectiveness can vary depending on the AP burst reliable front line, but yeah, you can go AP tank. Now, if he will not say the exact things I have here, if he will not say the exact things, I'm gonna get mad. I'm gonna get mad. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. But I feel like it will not recommend you the same build path I have here and the runes. Ain't no way, man. Ain't no way it's gonna recommend the same. Bruh. It doesn't have the Giga Chat Ignite playstyle, but I guess Ignite and Flash is arguable. Skill order QEW or Ghost, right? QEW. I mean, I guess it's okay. Max Q, followed by Brutal Strike W, Flash TP, Arcane Comet. No! You do not take seconds, wind and overgrowth. You need this Giga Chat setup. Approach velocity and biscuits. You need approach velocity to gap close. Agnar does get a lots of mobility from his W. His passive gives him a little extra mobility. And with this approach velocity plus Q, you can gap close and actually trade. Especially it works well with Ice One, because Ice One also procs approach velocity. And you know what's even more annoying? Cooldown, HP scaling, and flat AP is not here. We live in a society, but at least Doran's Ring and Hell Potion is recommended. Plate it into Sunfire! Well, what's Sunfire gonna do? No, No, you don't have approach velocity, you don't have Iceborne. You cannot gap close properly. You don't have Swift. Now, Swifties is arguable. You could go plated seal caps or mercs depending on the enemy team, or Swifties, but I think either way, three of these boots options can be fine depending on your matchup. Plated can be fine, but Sunfire is very bad because Gnar is either ranged or melee, and the issue with Sunfire is that you need to get ticks, right? You need Sunfire ticks, but all that many ticks you will not get on Gnar, especially with not a gap close. You don't have approach velocity, right? And you don't have Iceborne, right? So you have to sit on someone constantly with Sunfire to actually get ticks on them. But Gnar players tend to go some tenacity runes and anti-slow. Usually they get either mercs or B situation, of course, like mercs or Swifties. So it like you cannot sit on them. You have an extra wave clear, but that doesn't really becomes an issue on Malphite, you know, if you go for Iceborne, because you're still gonna have wave clear of your WE, you know. Into Frozen Heart. Now, Frozen Heart is very underbuilded by me. It's just generally not that price efficient these days. It still can be fine because it does reduce attack speed, but at that point of the game, you depends like how the game goes, but it's kind of unrecommended Frozen Heart, just because like its price is way higher than before, and it also may depend on the enemy team. So after your Iceborne, like depends like what do you wanna go for. But generally speaking, this is my recommended build path, right? Into Rush Iceborne Gauntlet, into Swiftly plate or plated, it doesn't matter. And after Iceborne you can get Tormail because he does basic attack a lot and he reduces his fleet lifesteal, so a early after Iceborne a Bramble Vest at least feels to be quite nice, especially if he goes Sundered Sky. The rest of them are quite situational, so usually you can get Tormail depending on his build if he goes Sundered. Some of them I've seen going Sundered Sky plus Fleet, but if it doesn't, of course it's gonna be situational, but usually don't build too much into Gnar, right? And it lacks some of this information as well at most, right? Because it's also not guided these specific informations as I have in here. For example, you could skip your W or arguably your E because you're not gonna most likely connect those abilities. This way you'll have more poke actually. So into some matchups like Queen, for example, where you're not gonna connect your E very likely, you can just skip it and put 2 points actually into your Q as a example. So many of these informations that I have in here in the side note, it doesn't actually appear in the AI's information. So not yet. Yet we are not get. Yet we're not gonna get replaced. Maybe one day, because I've seen lots of League AIs, but most of them are either misleading, borderline useless, because most of the advices it gives is just like very general things you could ask anybody about. Like literally anyone could tell you should team fight when your R is up on Malphite, you know. It's just like so many of these are just not very pro insights available for everyone, you feel me? Because some of them are misleading, and this slogan itself is also quite misleading, you know. So I think probably they should give more shits. Like at most, this Meeko AI consists of what statistics at most added on top of each other, and that's what the AI spits out. And at most, I think the owners, founders, head of content, whatever type of moderators, admins we have here, at most they need to edit those type of informations and give way more thought to these type of responses from the AIs themselves. Because if these things are actually also like corrected or more and more informations are added by the owners themselves, then this will be way more valid, because so many things were actually just quite misleading actually. So it just, I don't know, like I feel like they just need to give more shits about like I feel like they just need to give more shits usually about like on the informations that they receive, because so far most of them I had to leave a dislike so they'll know what's going on, right? So I don't know, like I think before they even like try to like monetize this whole thing, I think it needs a lot of work, you know, because it's one of those things that are very rushed as if now, and they are trying to monetize it as fast as hard as possible. It's like one of those video games that are getting too many microtransactions, or perhaps they are way too rushed. while the developers are expecting as much as possible out of it. Um, while it also does like it's basically the same as like any other like Overwolf apps, you know, like if you have Porofres or if you have this and that application, it's almost the same thing. And there should be a difference between just like almost the same thing to it being like different or better than other AIs or other like websites or apps that give you some type of advices, because so far it's just the same, and the same in the bad way, because it needs a lot of documentation, and that's it. Like it needs a lot of human editing and human documentation, because there should be like a real human logic added to it as well. It just really doesn't work that way, that they just perma like spit out statistics into your face, hoping that that will work out. Now that's it for now, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed these videos. Mainly I just wanted to point out why most of these AIs can be very wrong and why they need a lot of work. So I would say one day we will be replaced. It may be like in 1 or 2, 3 years, 5 years. I mean, who knows? I can't tell you guys exacts. But if these AIs will just permanently just say their own opinion. I mean, they don't even have opinions. They just add everything into an algorithm, right? So if they just permanently just make statistics about everything they see, and they add them together or something, it's just not gonna work out, you know, in long term. It's not gonna work out in long term at all. So yeah, I think it needs a lot of work on it. That's it for now, guys. And I know I've been repeating a lot of I've been repeating a lot of things over and over. That's just the type of person I am. That's it for now, guys. The second time. Have a nice day, y'all.